relationship with him? Did it start off well? Just talk about it as a whole, and then leading up to researcher, which I was just so excited to see West Virginia even have a big money race in those years. So just talk about that.
Well, Jeff Ronco, oh man, he's a working phenom. He love his horses just like any other trainer do out there, and he's there every morning competing at a high level. I can say Jeff Ronco's always had one rider that he always wanted to stick to, and it usually was apprentice jockeys, and he done very well with um establish those guys around Charlestown and places to make them better, because one thing about Jeff Ronco, he not only a good trainer, but when he give you instructions on the horse, he just stay on the rail. That's Jeff Ronco main issue about jocks. They don't stay on the rail to save ground at Charlestown, and you lose the slightest ground, you can't win there because that's the stretch is so short. And um, such a good guy. Still today, I see him. I send him a text or call him. I have to say, I had then left Charlestown for like a year, and Jeff Ronco, main jock that was riding for him, had got into a situation, and they couldn't find a jock for a researcher, and my best friend Scooby Snyder was standing on the side of Jeff Ronco one day, and he said, "Why wouldn't you ship Kendrick in to ride this horse? Kendrick, the best rider out there." And that's pretty much was history from there. I'll forget the night in Charlestown when I win that race. It was like being in Louisiana and seeing all my people just come celebrate with me. That's how I felt whenever I was in West Virginia. It was the most amazing feeling I could have ever think of as a young jock that was finding his way and getting better, and it was the right moment for me. It was truly the right moment at the time, because I never rode with any of the big riders: John Velasquez, Mike Smith, David Flores, Victor Espinoza. All these guys came from California and New York to ride in this race, and the only thing Jeff Ronco told me, just save ground. You're gonna win the race if you save ground, Kendrick. And that's all I could have think of. The whole post parade is to get to the rail, save ground, because I know Jeff gonna have this horse ready to win today. And um, when I win that race, I never forget. I told my wife I can ride with the big jocks. And once I said that a couple of times to myself, I started believing in it more and more and more. And this is where I'm at today, Chris. Um, I really appreciate you calling me a Hall of Fame jockey, and all of this for a long time. If we was really a sport of kings, and the way they deal with basketball players, football players, college players, all these players who started from the bottom and worked their way to certain points of their career to be successful and get to this stage of their life, I think I would qualify for that. You know, I never just stopped, because I always knew I was just as good as them, if not better.
Oh, absolutely. And, again, it's inspiring talking with you, and so interesting about researcher, taking, again, in that first, big race, that rail was just opening up just ever so slightly for you. But do your eyes get wide open when you're like, oh, baby, that's my chance? And how do you not, go too fast? I mean, again, obviously my questions are going to sound not, very complicated, but, what
No,
were your,
you're fine. I understand what you're saying. When you see these things happening, you just can't get over anxious, because something still can happen that can stop you from getting through those holes at that time, and sometimes you might get a little too close, and you're not supposed to be close, and everything closed, and soon enough you think to go around, everything opens in front of you. So it's all about patience, all about vision, when you're out there. And I can say I wrote a very good race on Researcher that night because of Jeff Ronco, and in over the years I've been around him, how much he um told every jockey, just sit on the rail, sit on the rail, sit on the rail. I mean, as you can see, the next year Louis Perez got the chance to get back on Researcher, and he done the same thing as me, sit on the rail and circle the field whenever he needed to. I do have to say I have to give all my credit to Charlestown, and I will always do that because that place made me who I am. It made me compete once I left there and know where I'm gonna be in a hole or not to be in a hole, or you know or how fast I'm going. It was a good path for me. I succeeded in my life, and I'm not done yet.
Oh, you ain't done. You're just getting started too, which is you're gonna have a couple Hall of Fame careers. I know Ronnie Brown. Obviously, that's a trainer that we work with. Obviously, you still are a legend. I think Ronnie Brown is a legend as well. Ronnie was saying that the track has not changed at all. When you watch Charlestown races, does it still give you the same? Oh, this is the same Charlestown it's always been. And do you miss those 4.5 furlong races?
Ha! You know, 4.5 was kind of easy for me, because I was that much better than those guys at the gate. I was really good at the gate, and but when it came to 7/8 of a mile and 6.5 coming out right there in the first turn, and the mile and the eighth down the backside, I relish those distance because those guys didn't know how, not all guys, but most of them didn't know how fast they was going. They just sent the horse and hope the horse would keep going. I was more of a patient rider once it got to those distance. I just break and sit and let everything come to me. And the only thing changes the horses and the jocks when you're going around there, man. You just gotta pay attention. You gotta know your jocks, gotta know the horse. Once you figure that out, your job gonna come easy.
And and again, I think you've had to figure out so many different types of horses. I mean, your experience is amazing. I think, didn't you ride the horse Immortal Eyes, who I think has the track record there, I think at 4.5. I believe you're on that
It
horse.
was no, 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 no. It was 4 furlongs because the chute had closed
Oh,
because they was building the chute. If I remember right, Immortalized went 4 furlongs, and it was Mike Gill, and I might have was the three horse if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think that horse went like 45 or 40, 40, 45 and one or something like that going around that track.
woo.
I mean, I was just holding on. I mean, that was such a fast. That was so fast, man. I mean, wow. But I loved it because it gave me a rush at the time, because I was a young whippersnapper in the game, So that little track just uh put a little fire in my ass.
And you're boom.
um, and once I got back to the bigger tracks, I just had to remember they was bigger. They're not as small no more, so I got to be a little bit more patient.
But hey, that is it's awesome that it's a part of your story, and even a couple other Charlestown horses. Do you remember winning on a Derwin Star at all?
Yes, for Steve Sayers, I went to Oaks Chestnut Philly. He shipped me in. I was at Parks. He called me one day, Kendrick. I need you to go to Charlestown, ride this filly for me. I said, sure, Steve. She went by like 7, 8 lengths. Never forget that night. Going into the first turn, they showing Parker horses leaning out. I had to holler at him, hey, give me some room. Let me get out of here. I'll be all right. All right. Once I got out and my horse got relaxed, by the time I turned on the backside, the race was over. She fit that racetrack. She really did.
And it seems like after you win some races, you'll show a little bit of emotion. Sadly, some of these videos that cut off right out the wire for you. Can you remember any good celebrations that you might have? And I guess ultimately, what is the most exciting? Like, when are you the happiest? Is it right when you hit the wire? Is it when you're just like slowly jogging to the winner's circle? When everything, I guess, settles and it kind of hits you that you won, or what are your thoughts like right when you hit the wire, and that excitement? When does it kind of peak for you?
To tell you the truth, whenever I'm riding and I see everything that I study in front of me, and know that nobody can come beat me from behind, and I know whenever I'm sitting there, I just gotta wait and just get outside or split horses. That feeling there is unbelievable. Whenever you know you got them beating, you just sitting there because of everything you studied and how fast they going. You just got to move a little, and you're gonna win. Every win is special to me, Chris. I have to say, being in this sport is all about winning. But even when I lose, I'm just as happy. Because this is not a job for me, man. This is a dream come true, man. This is everything that I expected it to be whenever I was coming up as a kid.
And and you get
So,
to eat and win, which is like so sorry to cut you off. Did you have anything else you wanted to add right there?
nah, just, I love my sport, man. I love the competition. Whoever, the more competition it is, the more I peak. That's just me.
Let's go. And again, I know not to keep you, too much longer, but a couple more Charlestown horses. Again, I know you talk about, it's winning. The races are so fun. There's the opportunity to compete. One race that I saw you got second. That was a crazy race. You barely lost at Charlestown. Was with Moonlit Malibu. It seemed like Grand Kisses was like drifting out. Do you remember, that photo finish with a Moonlit Malibu? I mean, that might be a throwback, but do you remember that horse at all?
Moonlit Malibu. Oh, I'm trying to think who trained that horse. John Service?
I, I needed to. I think it might have been Michael Trombetta, but I'm not sure.
No, 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 no. It wasn't. Did I ride that horse, or did Julian Pimentel ride that horse? That was for Larry Johnson.
I'm gonna have to go back and check out.
I'm telling you, that wasn't me. That was Julian Pimentel winning the Oaks on that filly. Moon. Yeah, that was. Yep, Larry Johnson. I remember that. I was there that night. I don't. I might have won a stake for Clovis Crane that night, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I remember that filly. Matter of fact, long story short, I saw her in the pasture like 3 years ago. Man, it's weird. Yeah, she had a baby in the pasture right there in Maryland. I went to the farm. Yeah, Larry Johnson. That's that. Yeah, Moonlight. What's her last name?
Malibu.
Yeah, that's Julian Pimentel. He always rode her, so I know I didn't ride that one, but he always rode her.
Well, nice, nice. And I think I was gonna ask you about that Clovis. I mean, what an interesting name. Anything you remember about Clovis? And there was also a horse that I think you won on, Princess Cecilia, for West Virginia Stakes night. I don't know if you remember that horse or anything you got to say about old Clovis.
Oh yeah, Clovis Crane. Shit, man. I know. I think whenever I was there, I win a stake for Clovis Crane. The Vince Muscarelli stakes. They still got it over there. I win by a head. His other horse was trying to come through the rail. I shut him off. I beat him my head, and the jock wanted to claim my objection, but he told him no. It didn't matter. It was the same money.
And
Kendrick win the race. You should have went around, not go inside.
I, I love that. And a couple other horses, I'll just name them, and you can tell me if you remember them at all. Mary's Pegasus, Lindelman, Blue Street, maybe back in 2009.
Wendley Blue Street. You see, the only way I would know him if you tell me the trainer name, because I'll be knowing them by the trainer name. But I can tell you one horse that I really love. I
I
used
love
to love to watch in Charlestown, and his name is George Yetsuk. I love that guy. He's a very nice guy, classic guy. He got a breeding farm in West Virginia, but My favorite horse from him was Confucius Say. He was the most prettiest horse. Larry Reynolds wrote that horse like a glove. I have to say, he loved Larry Reynolds, that horse. That was besides researcher, out of all the horses that I saw in West Virginia, he was one of my favorites.
Do you have any pictures with these old school legendary jockeys that maybe you cherish or that you look at ever, or any photos from the Charlestown days maybe against them?
No, back in the day, we wasn't. They never took no pictures of us like year photos or anything. We all just it was different then. It wasn't about social media or none of this stuff or taking pictures. We just was one big whole family wanting to ride and win races and go party after that. Wild and wonderful, West Virginia.
Again, a couple more questions. Obviously, I would love to know. After you win a big race, where do you even go around Charlestown? I bet you can make your own fun. And then, what do you got to say about Mountaineer? The other Charlestown track. They got some low rails over there. An interesting. What you
Mountaineer.
got to say about those things?
Oh, Mountaineer, boy, I tell you, I used to get my ass kicked the first 4 or 5 times whenever I went there, man. I couldn't win a race. Then one year I went there and I rode for the right people, Todd Pletcher, Christophe Clement, and I won both of the stake races that day on the grass. And besides that, I got so many friends up there in the Panhandle over there. Tommy Perez, Deshaun Parker is married to his sister. Like, Tommy Mom. Shout out to Tommy Mom. I love that woman. She was the best. Always had a plate of food for me whenever I was there. Mountaineer was different. Is that yeah? It's horse for course over there. To be honest, Charlestown, you could have bring any horse over there and run and do good because it just changed the dynamic of running around short turns. But I love Mountaineer, especially the announcer. Give me the announcer name over there. That's a good guy, man.
I don't remember his name, but I know Paul Espinoza does a good job at Charlestown for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know Paul that much, but yeah, Paul do a very good job. I like Paul. I like Paul. Paul do a very good job.
And again, last just couple of things. Obviously, you're big time and you're killing it. And again, I love that you make time again for the small guys, that you still have love for them. Just so even horse fans can understand, because horse racing is going around all year round, and people should come out to the track, watch it all the time. Just for you, what would you rank are the top 5 races outside of the Derby? There's a million stakes races that it's hard to kind of rank them in your mind of like, oh, this is the one that Kendrick really wants to win. Just in your mind, what are like maybe the Super Bowls and Masters and those big, just for you outside of like the under the Derby, Preakness, and Belmont.
Oh man, I tell you what, Chris. Last year and the last 5 6 years of my career, I win some races that you don't think about winning these races. You dream about winning these races. It's a dream come true when you win these races. I win the Cigar Mile. I win the Manhattan. I win the 4 Star Day. I win some nice graded 1 races, grade 2 races, but man, I just want to win, Chris. I just want to win, man. I mean, it's hard enough to get a horse to compete in those races and be and go to those races, but the first time I get one, you better believe I ride him to perfection to win.
And I heard an interview one time, you said you got to bet, you're saying you got to bet me every race. I'm going to give you a chance, whether it's a 30 to 1, 100 to 1, or a 1 to 1.
It don't matter, my man. I'm always in the right spot to win. Now it's gonna be up to the horse if he can compete with the other ones, but I put my horses in the right spot to win. I'm not one of those jocks that's gonna think, well, I'm 30 to 1. Let me sit back here. No, 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 no. I want to be in the race. I want to make sure I'm in the right position because One thing about being in the right position, a lot of jocks go too fast, a lot of jocks go too slow, leave you in the race. Those dynamics is what make jockeys better, and I got a craft for picking up those things and knowing where to be at certain points of the race when these things are going on.
And that's what you got to be like that. And again,
Yes, yes, you have to be that way.
and it seems like again, just the last thing I'm going to leave you with, something I just really wanted to know, because obviously you're competitive spirit, you want to win every race, and obviously you ran in the Kentucky Derby, which is absolutely incredible. Qualifying, I saw you; you were more, as pumped as I've ever seen you. I guess briefly, can talk about the Derby experience, and also, did you ride in the races that were right after the Kentucky Derby? And can you talk about the difference between the Kentucky Derby and the races right after? I don't know if you rode in the races right after, but again, it's kind of interesting that.
I did. I didn't, but being in the Derby, Chris, it's just a eerie feeling, you know. It's just dreams, man. You know, I was a young boy coming from Louisiana, and I didn't got so far in my career to get to this point where I can um have the mindset, the body, the health, the love around me to compete in those races. And to see your family at the Derby, my man, it's shocking. It's very shocking. I know they have guys that go every year, and I'm sure every year it feels just as the first one. You know, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. You feel the ground move. You hear so many people cheer for you. Um, and when you're a guy like myself that speaks to everyone and never try to, I see everybody as one in my eyes, So I have fans all over the world, and believe me, hearing those people chant your name is wonderful, man. It really is, man. You know, I don't never think about me being in the Hall of Fame or doing none of these things that I'm doing at this level or none of this, but whenever I sit down and think about it, man, God really did bless me along the way, man. He showed me he showed me the way, but I just had to conquer it and to make sure that we get there in time,
It's inspiring, Kendrick. God is the best, and
He's the best. He's the best.
he ain't going nowhere, even when we aren't looking for him. I heard God ain't lost. So,
Nah, I'm for him and he for me. I roll with him.
amen to that. And obviously, we're right
Yes.
at time. Kendrick, we're cheering for you every step of the way. Again, thank you for the conversation. Thank you for sharing the light on Charlestown. I hope you come back for a big race, and it's all love, man. Good luck the rest of the way. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. And make sure whenever you're out there, man, you tell all my people in West Virginia I still love them, man. They know what time it is. Hey, whenever I win, they win.
Hey, and like you said, it's wild and wonderful, and we'll celebrate with you. We'll
Yes,
celebrate
sir.
and support our own. Have a great day, Kendrick.
All right, you too, Chris.
Bye.
Bye.